السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونتوب إليه. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وأنفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, inshallah today we'll be looking into the recitation of Surah Al-Fatiha. And we'll be talking about some of the common mistakes people make while reciting the surah. As we all know, the Surah Al-Fatiha is required for salah, and whoever prays salah without reading Surah Al-Fatiha as it should be read, the person doesn't have salah. And even the scholars said you don't have to pray behind someone who doesn't know how to recite Surah Al-Fatiha. Regardless, the person himself or herself cannot even pray on their own unless they can read Surah Al-Fatiha. Right? So let's dive into some of the common mistakes, the Tajweed mistakes people make in Surah Al-Fatiha, reciting Surah Al-Fatiha, and we're gonna know how to recite them properly. Okay, so the first thing I would like to say is Surah Al-Fatiha is a surah that was revealed in Mecca, so Surah Al-Makkiyah, and it has 7 ayats, right? So it has 7 ayats, starting with Bismillah. Although there are different opinions, two groups of the scholars who said uh, Bismillah is the first ayah of Surah Al-Fatiha, while some of them said no, Bismillah is not part of Surah Al-Fatiha, right? But I think the best and the correct opinion based on my own readings as well is that Bismillah Rahman Rahim is the first ayah of Surah Al-Fatiha. Wallahu alam. So that's not what we want to discuss today. We want to discuss the Tajweed concept, right, behind reading Surah Al-Fatiha. And the first ayah of Surah Al-Fatiha. So the first ayah of Surah Al-Fatiha is Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So you see how I pronounce it, right? The sin, it's easy to pronounce. So we're gonna be looking at the Makharij and some related Tajweed rules with this one. The major mistakes people make with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim is the pronunciation of the ha. So the ha and the ha of Rahman and the ha of Rahim, all these three letters come from the same region of the mouth. They all come from the oral cavity, right? They all come from the oral cavity, but they have different areas of the oral cavity they come from. Like the ha comes from the uh, aqsa al-halq, right? The ha comes from the deeper part of the throat. Why the ha, right? The ha and the ha, this is ha and Rahman and this is ha and Rahim. So they both come from the wasat al-halq. They both come from the middle part of the throat. So if you haven't learned this before, that's some of one of the first lessons we had. Maybe like a month ago or more than a few weeks ago, we discussed about the Makharij, the articulation points of each of the letters of the Quran. So we've discussed this in detail, I think more than 6 weeks ago now. So you can check our previous webinar or class on Makharij, the pronunciation or articulation of the Quran alphabet. So ha. So when you're pronouncing the ha like ha, that's wrong, right? Or when you're pronouncing the ha like a, Hamza is another letter that's very commonly mispronounced with ha, even with ha sometimes, right? So the correct pronunciation should be Bismillahi. Oh, you can see how my heart beat, right? How I pronounce the ha. Ha. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So you see I pronounce the ha. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And another thing people often make mistake of, although many of you guys have learned to read Surah Al-Fatiha by memory, but many do not know the tajweed rules that has to do with this surah. Most importantly, like we see here, we see the Hamzat al-Wasli that is joining ha together with ar-Rahman. So this Hamza is called the Hamzat al-Wasli, so it's not pronounced whenever it's in the middle, right? So you don't pronounce this, you don't pronounce the alif as well. So you go right away to pronounce the ra. So Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So this ra here is harfun shamsiyya. So any letter that doesn't have, this alif is called hamzat al-wasl, is not pronounced, and this lam will never be pronounced as well. So you pronounce the ha and go directly to the ra. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and you make sure that you pronounce the tashdid, right? The doubling of the ra. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Yeah, many things into this Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So the ra, the fkhim ra. So the ra pronunciation should be, your mouth should be closed. Not Bismillahir Rahmani. Not Rahmani. It should be Rahmani, right? So you don't say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. No, right? So it should be Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Right? So you don't say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. No, that is not correct, right? It should be tafkhim, right? So you have to make sure your mouth is curved, right, to pronounce the ra. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I hope you guys can all see my mouth. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Right? And the next ayah, the second ayah, is Hamzat al-Wasl is starting this ayah. Right? So here you don't pronounce, you have to pronounce this alif. So how do you pronounce this alif? Whenever you see Hamzat al-Wasli, right, together with Lam al-Ma'rifah, so you have to give the Hamza or that Fatha, you have to give it Fatha. So this alif here, it doesn't have any alif or any Fatha to pronounce it with, right? But the moment you see Hamzat al-Wasli, right, or Hamzat al-Qat'i, together with Lam al-Ma'rifah, Lam with Sukun, right, together with this kind of format, so the Hamza or the alif it has right after it Lam al-Ma'rifah, Lam with Sukun. So what you need to do at that point, you have to give that alif or that Hamza Fatha. So that's the rule. We're going to go later on into the rules of Hamzat al-Wasl. Hamzat al-Wasl, it's a different topic entirely, right? So, but for easy knowledge sake right here, whenever you see, Hamzat al-Wasli connected to Lam al-Ma'rifah, this kind of Lam with Sukun, you have to give it Fatha, right? So you say, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. So you see I elongated the Alameen. So that's a mad, we call it al-mad al-aridun lis-sukun. So whenever you have a letter of mad, so you guys that haven't watched our previous classes, so if we talk about ya, whenever the ya doesn't have any haraka, it's representing mad. So it's representing an elongation, right? It's representing an elongation forward. It's representing an elongation for the meme. So it's gonna be mean. So you can do 2 haraka, 4 haraka, and 6 haraka. So you don't do more than 6, right? 2 seconds, 4 seconds, 6 seconds, right? So I prefer to do 6, right? So you can do 4, but you have to be consistent whichever one you take, right? So Alhamdulillahi. So you remember in Bismillahi, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. So the Hamza, the A here, the Ain here has al-mad. So this A, you have to pronounce it for 2 seconds, right? And this Ba, we talked about the doubling of letters last week, Shadda. So for you to be able to pronounce this Ba correctly, you have to assume that there are 2 Bas here that were compacted together to form one Ba with Shadda. So the first Ba is having Sukun, the second one is having Kasra. So you assume that whenever you pronounce the Shadda of the Ba. Rabbi, right? So it's like you're pronouncing one Ba silently and pronouncing the second Ba with Kasra. Rabbi, right? Alhamdulillahi. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. And when you do Aridul Sukun, Al-Madu Al-Aridul Sukun, you have to give the Noon Sukun, right? So whenever you do that kind of stop, normally whenever you stop on any letter in the Quran, you give that letter you stop on, you give it Sukun, right? We already talked about this earlier on, right? So Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Right? So one of the common mistakes people make is the ha. It's not given the proper pronunciation. They just say alhamdu, right? Alhamdu, alhamdu. So you have to pronounce the ha very well because the ha comes from the wasat al halq, right? Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin, right? So the next ayah, the same thing here. So this Hamzatul Wasli here, in this scenario here, is having Lamul Ma'rifa, right? But it's, the Ra here is Harf Shamsiyya. So you do the same thing. You give this Alif or this Hamza, you give it Fatha, right? Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. So you see that we pronounce this Alif here with Fatha, but we don't pronounce this one here. It's the same Alif, the same format, but we don't pronounce it here with what, with fatha. So that is only we pronounce this one whenever it's beginning the recitation of an ayah, right? Or whenever we are starting with that alif to begin the recitation, right? But if it's in the middle of the recitation, we don't pronounce it, right? So that's why we have to pronounce this one with fatha. Ar-Rahmani. So we talked about mad earlier on. So this is gonna be for 2 seconds. Mani. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. You see how I pronounce the Ra. That's how to pronounce it. Tafkhim Ra. So, and it's having shadda, it's two rules in there. You have to pronounce it with your mouth closed, curved, and you have to give it the shadda as well, right? Like we did earlier in Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So this one is Ar-Rah. So for you to be able to pronounce the Ra, you have to pronounce the same way I talked to you earlier about the Ba. So it's like the Ra is two Ra's, and one of them, the first one is having sukun, the second one is having fatha, and they brought both of them together and they give them shadda, right? They give one of them shadda, right? So it means whenever you have shadda on the letter, it means the letter is doubled, and the two letters that were doubled now brought together with one shadda on top of one of them, right? So ar so ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So this Hamzatul Wasli is pronounced with fatha because we are studying the Quran, the ayah recitation with this alif, right? But in this area here, we don't pronounce this Hamzatul Wasli because it's in the middle of the ayah, right? Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. So I did the Ahmad al-Aridul sukun as well here. So you can do the elongation of the Aridul sukun for 2, 4, or 6 counts, right? So I used to do 6 counts for myself. So I like the 6 counts, right? Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. So let's go to next ayah. Maliki Yawmiddin. Maliki Yawmiddin. So we see here, I'm not pronouncing this Hamzat al-Wasl here because it's in the middle, right? I'm not pronouncing it. So the meme, make sure you give it the Madd al-Tabi'i, the 2 count pronunciation. Maliki, although there's another riwayah of pronouncing, but we are looking at this one we have on the screen right now. So this is the one that's very common, right? This mad, you have to do it for 2 seconds. Maliki Yawmiddin, right? Maliki Yawmiddin, Yawmiddin. So this Yawm is mad lean in Tajweed. Maddu al-lean. Yawm, Yawm, right? Yawm. Maliki Yawmiddin, right? Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Yeah, so see I pronounce the yeah. So you oftentimes a lot of people do not pronounce the shadow of the iyyaka very well. So and you have to follow the rule of tashdid that we talked about last week. So you would assume that this year here is having shadda and fatha. So it means they are 2 years earlier on, right? So the first year is having sukun and the second having fatha, right? And you have to assume that whenever you want to pronounce the shadda for you to be able to pronounce it very well. So iyyaka, right? Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. So one harf here, this letter here, ain, is often mispronounced most often times because a lot of people find it hard to pronounce ain. Iyyaka na' Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. نستعين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. Right? I give this the nun sukun because I'm stopping on it, right? Okay, the next ayah, right? So everyone look at this one. Like I said, we will go in depth into the rules of Hamazat al-Wasl later on, inshallah. But you pronounce this one here with kasra. We all know that, right? اهدنا الصراط المستقيم اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. Right? So the sad here, we have to observe the tashdid for the sad here. And you see, we pronounce this one with kasra, but we didn't pronounce this one here. This hamzat al-wasl, right? So, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم mustaqim. And this ta, a lot of people get it confused. They pronounce the ta like ta. Where they will say, Ihdina sirata al-mustaqim. I've had people recite the Quran like that. So that's wrong, right? Ihdina sirata al-mustaqim. So mustaqim is wrong because you're pronouncing ta instead of ta, right? اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. So that's the correct pronunciation. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. Right? So the next ayah. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. صراط الذين. So a lot of kids who are just start learning the Quran, they find it hard to pronounce this kind of situation here, right? صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. Right? So you don't pronounce this alif. You don't pronounce this alif here, right? صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. So we are just starting to teach some of the kids in the accelerated Quran Reading Program. The moon letters and the sun letters this week. So it's very good of them, listening to this as well. Right. So this alif is Hamzat al-Wasl. Right. When you have it together here, you don't pronounce it in the middle of any ayah. So you meet it, right? Don't assume it's not there whenever it's in the middle, right? صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير. So that's another letter a lot of people pronounce wrongly. So the gha and the kha, they come from adna al-halq. They come from the closest part of the throat, right? The part of the throat that is very close to the mouth. That's where the gha is pronounced from, right? غير 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 المغضوب غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. So this is called المد اللازم أي المثقل الكلمي. So this is the rule of that in Tajweed. And that is always oftentimes whenever the shadda comes after secondary med. So this is a secondary med. You see, I pronounce the med for 6 counts, right? ولا الضالين. So this one is so very special that a lot of people make mistakes there. So let me recite it again. ولا الضالين. So that's how to pronounce that. Yeah, so that's how to pronounce all those ones, and let's recite Surah Al-Fatiha again, and even anyone have questions, then we can attend to, right? بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Right, so that's how to pronounce and read Surah Al-Fatiha and the associated Tajweed rules with reciting Surah Al-Fatiha. Right? So it's something that has to do with continuous practice, right? Everyone has to keep practicing this. And a lot of people would think, oh yeah, I know how to pronounce and how to recite Surah Al-Fatiha. I don't have to learn it. When a lot of people saw this post, they're like, wow, I know how to read Surah Al-Fatiha. Yeah, you know how to read it, but you're not reading it correctly, right? So you will have, from my presentation today, hopefully you've gained something, you've learned something on how to correctly pronounce Surah Al-Fatiha. And if anyone has any comment, you can shoot the comments in the comment section below right here, and we can attend to the questions, right? Or you can send me a private chat. And if anyone have any other questions that has to do with Quran recitation or Quran Tajweed learning, I'm still here for the next 5 minutes. You can ask me any questions you have regarding Quran learning for yourself or your child, or maybe you're facing some challenges learning how to read the Quran as an adult, or your child is facing a problem learning how to recite the Quran or learning how to read the Quran. You can shoot us a question right here in the comment section below. Then we can talk about it right now. Um, or if you have questions later on after the webinar, you can send us, put a comment on this presentation later on, or you can send me a private chat or a private message in my Facebook messenger, and inshallah we're going to respond to it as soon as possible with Allah. And just to remind you all, our accelerated Quran Reading program is starting. We have another cohort starting uh, next 2 weeks, right? Next week, so 9th of January, right? So if you are interested and really interested in helping your child become a fluent Quran reader, it's a great opportunity for you to learn and to help your child, start the journey. And subhanallah, the way the program is designed, this program is 16 weeks program, and all the basic structures of the Quran recitation is taught to the students or to these kids within 16 weeks, right? And they do a lot of practice reading. And the deal is that if a child is not able to achieve that fluency, we keep working with them, right? We guarantee that we're gonna keep working with them until they're able to achieve it. But it's very rare for us to work with any child for 16 weeks and they are not able to recite the Quran fluently. But kids learn differently, right? So, but for any child who's not able to achieve what we think should be the perfect fluency for them within 16 weeks, we extend, the Quran classes for them without any cost on the parents, right? So the parents we don't have to pay any extra cost for that if the child hasn't achieved that fluency within the specified 16 weeks. But we get, bear it in mind that we do have homework, and in as much the child is completing all the homework and all the assignments we give to them, then and they are not yet able to recite the Quran fluently after the 16 weeks program, then we automatically extend their classes for them. It's no cost on the parents, right? But if the parent or the child is not attending to all the homework, they're not doing what they need to do. So that's to be, that means that it's on their own. They are not putting efforts. The child is not putting in the effort to learn the Quran, because we have, weekly classes, group classes, and one-on-one classes for students that are struggling. And we do have a lot of events or a lot of things in the program. It's a very unique program, and a lot of parents that have kids in this program, they have a good thing to say about it. And inshallah, the goal is to help kids learn the Quran and help them, avoid some of the common mistakes in Quran learning, right? Some of one of there are three major problems a lot of people, even kids, face while learning the Quran. One of the mistake is, a lot of them feel lack of motivation. A lot of people, once they start learning the Quran, they felt it's so hard because they don't speak Arabic. They're not from, they're not native Arabic speakers, or all those kind of reasons. People tends to give up, right? So we use the curriculum to avoid those kind of those kind of problems. And also students also be able to retain whatever they've learned using the curriculum to to include all the retention memory strategies that we talk about in our webinars. And also we help kids be able to finish this journey within a short period of time, instead of them learning for 2 3 years to get done within 4 months, inshallah. So inshallah, I'll listen or wait for comments. And if there's no any comments of any questions from anyone, we're going to end the webinar. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.